Yes. Okay, so Jill
Yeah.
is a new member of her family.
Yes, Kimber J. Jameson, and she was 6 pounds, I think 5 ounces. She's lost a little bit. They are going to the doctors today. Anyway, she's doing really well. She's very tiny.
That is tiny.
And big sister is
Sorry.
not quite sure, but anyway, she's warming up to her. It's a lot. She was, Hazel, my granddaughter that's coming over, she will be 3 in June 2nd. She'll be 3. So
Okay.
anyway, it's just been a whirlwind, and Mama had
Oh,
cesarean, so that, we're all trying to pitch in because she can't lift and do too much right now. So
yeah, for sure. Oh,
yeah.
good. Glad it all went well, though.
Yeah, it did.
Good, good. Well, and my dogs are going to start barking here in a minute, because someone's coming, my cleaning crew. Oh, they're here now. Give me a minute when they come in and I will then get us going. They're a little late this morning, so, but that's okay. We'll just keep painting down here. So, I wonder where everyone is. Haven't heard from only Anna. Anna said she couldn't come. Okay.
Let's see what I got here.
So Jill, I went horseback riding last week.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I haven't been in easily 10 years, and that was just a stupid, tour thing that was not very lovely. So, but this one was just spectacular.
Yay.
I went up in the mountains with a friend of mine, and she has a super gentle horse that she got just so friends could ride with her. And she said it was for her husband, but he doesn't ever ride. So it's amazing. And we went 10 miles and walked about 3 of it, just kind of enjoy the scenery and the horses and stuff. But I was pretty poor.
Yeah.
I'm just barely getting back to where my thighs aren't killing me every time I walk up a step. So
now we know why cowboys walk the way they do.
yeah.
Anyway, well, that's great. I love, I had to give my horse up, the one that I was leasing after my horse died, during this whole hand deal. And so I did have gone, I didn't ever leave the barn. All my stuff is still there. But I have asked to lease a horse partial this coming month. So in May. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I bet.
Get back on to the riding scene. I built a big community at the barn. I've been there 16, 17 years. So, to lose that with the loss of my horse was hard. That's why I jumped right back in and got leased a horse. But I haven't felt the need to really jump in and look for another horse at this point. I just think I want to lease for a while.
Yeah, that was pretty heartbreaking.
It was it was very hard, but I'm good, and I know she's good, and she's always with me. So that's, that is just a beautiful gift.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Anyway, well, that's awesome.
Yeah, we have neighbors that breed horses. We have probably 30 pregnant mares.
Oh, wow.
Half of them are in one field right where I look out, and the other half the corner as we're driving out. And I saw the first baby yesterday, which is usually it's after May 1st. And I was like, oh, that it was laying on the ground. I think it was moments old, but
Oh, wow.
it
I've
was,
only seen that, like, I think I've seen two births, like just right after, like what you're talking about. And it's pretty amazing how fast they figure things out.
yeah, well, we'll be sitting on our deck overlooking the pasture. And the last year my daughter was here, I think for Mother's Day, and
Uh-huh.
she's like, that mare's having a horse, having a baby. And I look over and sure enough, got to watch the whole thing. It was the coolest. And
Wow.
usually we see them, we'll see them come out, and then they'll take them to the barn shortly after that. But they keep them in the field right up and let them birth in the field and then take them to the barn. So we have a front row seat. It's really cool.
That's nice. That is really nice.
That is, stop.
So every spring we get a little Mother Nature show.
I love it. That's amazing.
To get myself warmed up here. Oh, so this week I'll wait till Janice comes back because I wanted to talk to her too. I'll show you, Jill, what I'm working on, and you can show me what you're working on. Oh, that wasn't what I meant to do. So
Oh, that's beautiful.
well, I don't know if you can see the layer underneath as a face.
Oh, I do see a face. Yeah.
And then the message through was live your dream.
Oh,
So I've been trying to pack my dream into this week and get it moving.
yeah.
'Cause-
It's I do I meditate every morning, but I can tell you I've been exhausted this week. I don't know about anybody else, but man, I have just been really exhausted.
I've been exhausted since I got home. I've been sleeping 10 and 12 hours. And I must have got caught up because last night I only slept about 4.
Okay.
So
Well, that feels good to be caught up, I'm sure.
we'll see. We'll see what happens. Then I'll go into my cycle of no sleep. So
Yeah, no, I do that a lot, and oh my gosh.
yeah.
I really feel like I was sleep deprived this last week.
Well, the
Oh,
full
it was
moon.
all the energy, yeah, the full moon and just all the energy from not myself. It seemed like outer planetary. It was definitely planetary.
Okay, sorry, you guys.
Oh, I was gonna tell you guys that Karen and I, we started doing the cards together.
Mhm.
And then I mentioned that I did hypnotherapy, and she said, "Oh, I'd love to have you do that with me." And all week I had all this stuff come up about Lemuria. And I was like, I'm thinking, maybe there was a lifetime in Lemuria that we shared. And so anyway, we went in and did this really lovely, and I've never done on Zoom, never done it on the phone, anything. I've always done the sessions in person. And I haven't really done any, well, I did a couple in Hawaii with friends over there. And then Karen asked me to do it. And so it's like and we ended up doing this past life regression. And I won't tell you all about it because that's her story, but it was really, really cool to see how I could do it online. And it's kind of surprised myself that I adapted so easily to it. So anyway, putting that out there in the universe
That is very cool. And something, sorry, they're vacuuming now. My life is
I can't hear
chaos
it.
right now. They something that I did with the last group. They finished last Friday and it worked out really good because they started to share with our group, you know, like Jen shared with both groups, Jen Day, the human design stuff. And then Delmaine shared a workshop with us on dot painting. So we did these rocks, right?
Oh,
Or I
fun.
should put it this way, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Whoop,
Yeah.
yeah. And so she shared the how to do these. And then Micah is going to be sharing a workshop with us too. And then I am also going to interview whoever wants to be interviewed on my Facebook and YouTube, so to help them get going in their businesses. So it just kind of evolved this way, and it's perfect because that's exactly the vision I had for as the program ends. I want people to feel ready to go. And so for some people, they just needed to, like Delmaine just needed to experiment with Zoom. She hadn't done that before and done that workshop online. So it was a really good experience for her. We gave her great feedback about, you know, the ways she can do it that'll save her time and make it easier for everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something that to keep in mind, because as we move into, like, say, September, that might be a really good time for you guys to offer things to our group that would be practice or sharing. Like, I know Jen is already getting people ordering human design readings from her. Delmaine is getting kits ordered from the other members of the group for her. So it's a really good way to start to make some money and share what you can do.
Yeah, and I was gonna say to this group, because you know, this thing kind of went from doing a card to doing a reading or a past life, and I was gonna offer that out to everybody in our group, that if they want to do a past life, it doesn't have to even be a past life, because when you're doing hypnotherapy, it kind of takes you where you need to go. So I was going to let everybody know that I would be really thrilled to work with anybody that wanted me to. If there's something they're trying to work through and it just isn't happening, sometimes going in trance helps a lot.
I appreciate
Absolutely.
that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. That sounds really great. And it sounds like something that we can kind of let you have the floor for a little bit to explain what you do and how it's worked in the past, and then people can reach out to you that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to do that right now?
No, let's
the
do
late-
it when most of us are here. And
Okay.
yeah,
Great. I wasn't sure if you wanted me to talk because I wasn't prepared.
that's okay. Yeah, no, it'll give you time to prepare too. So you guys, I see you painting already. So Jill, what are you working on?
I'm continuing what I did. I taught a class on Sunday. So I'm just kind of continuing with this. I kind of have a vision of taking it someplace else, which I'm really, you know, like I don't get attached to my paintings at all. Like I can paint over, like I don't have a problem painting over them for some reason. But anyway, this is just something that, you know, I was kind of showing my class different techniques and like dry brushing and using more using stencils and water, and just kind of like how you can, you know, do more watercolor with the paint and let it drip. And anyway, so I'm going to work on this one that I started.
That's funny. I'm doing a dragonfly too. I am. This is one I started in a workshop too. I was painting with a group of women, and I just decided to do the dragonfly as a demo, and I'm like, I really like the colors in this. I'm going to keep going with it. And I had added in, I'm adding in here, can't really see it very well, but a canoe
Oh,
and
nice.
a teepee in the background. And
Nice.
we'll see what else evolves. But yeah, that's
Nice.
funny.
I know. Well, one of the gals wanted, she, this time, I have a group of women that that now kind of have, they join me in the classes. I try and do it once a month. And she wanted to do a dragonfly. So I said, okay, we'll work on dragonfly. So we did.
Yeah.
Had a good time.
Well,
I'm gonna go grab something. I want to show you guys.
okay.
Be back in a
Yeah,
minute.
I really feeling that transformation energy in the world, even.
Yeah, I am too. I definitely, it's funny, I'm actually gonna do a card reading with Osho. He wants to do the Rose Oracle deck, and so I'm gonna meet up with him on Friday.
Oh, that's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to hear that because, yeah, I know he did a reading with Anna too. So,
Did he? Okay.
yeah, that's
And I did
good.
one with Lori, and that was really good.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to hear more about that from you guys.
Yeah.
Oh my, that is
Oh, wow.
gorgeous.
That
Well,
is really
I
gorgeous.
went to like a paint and sip thing last night at the local
Ah,
brewery,
fun.
and kind of hoping that maybe we would get to know each other better. Some of them you go to and everybody tells where they're from and why they came and blah blah blah. There was none of that. In fact, she sat me down at a table all by myself,
Oh, wow.
Oh no.
right in the middle of the room. But it was fun. It was interesting. I can hardly wait to go in and start putting little details of fun stuff in the air. And the dragonflies reminded me of that because I was thinking, oh, wouldn't a couple of dragonflies and maybe some cool birds.
Oh,
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it was
That's
kind of a
great.
fun little,
that is cool. Yeah. Well, good. Okay. Well, hope you have some nice music on and just focus in. I already did my smudging and cleansing here, so I'm gonna pin this. Oop, totally. There we go. And see what else comes up for me.
Okay.
Well, Carrie, does it feel good to be home?
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. There's there's just so much to do. And with my lavender all gone too, it's like I'm
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to a decision about what to do about that. Because
Yeah, that's too bad. I
well, I've been preparing myself for it. I'm not sad. Because remember how we talked about how I've just never really fully given myself the time in July to recuperate from my daughter's death, and that it always hits me right then. And I was
yeah.
like, wow, I'm just going to take the year off.
Oh,
Take the year off and see what happens. Do I want to replant the whole thing?
right.
Do I want to just build a really cool garden that doesn't have 500 lavender plants to take care of,
Yeah.
that. So I'm rethinking myself, and
Okay.
lots has been coming up, and
Mhm.
switching all of my lavender workshops to painting and perfumery
Right.
and venture. So yeah, I kind of knew it might happen just because it got so cold and I knew there wasn't any snow yet.
Mm-hmm.
And if the snow isn't there to insulate. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it feels good to be in my paint room. It feels good to be playing with paint on a big canvas and not have to figure out how to get it in my suitcase.
Right.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's good.
But when I get up and have to light a fire and my paint porch is 30 degrees, kind
Yeah.
of don't miss much.
No. No, that's not fun, but it's ending soon. So,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. Can you guys hear that? So I can mute myself. That's crazy.
No, I couldn't hear it.
Oh,
I
okay.
couldn't hear anything either.
Okay,
So,
good.
yeah,
It
you're
was
good.
just a little gargle.
Okay. Well, yeah, usually, the girl that comes to clean, which I love her. It's my treat, to be able to have a cleaning lady. She comes every second week, and she injured her leg. So she has postponed, and then I told her too, just postpone as long as you need. Like, it's not I can do my cleaning, right? It's just a luxury for me to have you. But she insisted on coming. She has some help with her, but they were just a little late today. So normally they're here at 8 and pretty much finishing up by now. So, but she had to get x-rays, and yeah, but it's her livelihood too, right? So I'm like, well, whatever you decide, I'm good with. So,
I'm gonna mute myself because my granddaughter's here and I don't want to distract anybody.
oh, okay.
Good to see you, Jill.
Yeah. It's part of the life at this point, eh? Taking in the grandkids when we can. That was me yesterday. It threw me off a little bit for my week too. It's funny how you go, no, I'm fine. We'll be fine. Just bring them. And then it's like, oh, I forgot to do the draws yesterday for Illuminate Your Challenge. And yeah, I'm like,
Oh,
okay.
I love the way you handled that. It was just really sweet.
Oh, thanks for your
Um,
patience. That's good.
patient. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, he's funny. He's a cutie pie, that's for sure. Well, and
Yeah,
that's that's the joy of, not having a job to go to. It's like I'm flexible here. We can work
yeah,
with this.
yeah.
So,
I've been really lucky to be available. Like my two youngest, except for the brand new baby, but um, when they were born, my daughter only got 2 months off from her job.
oh my gosh, that's
And so her husband's parents came for a month, and then I came for a month.
right.
I didn't stay, nonstop because we're so close. I could go home. I'd go over Monday morning and stay 4 nights
Right.
and then go back home. And it was just so nice to have that time with them, and
Oh, right.
that I didn't get with the two older ones,
Yeah.
and they're really close to me. And my granddaughter, who's 9, she's been in all kinds of drama stuff, not bad drama, but actual drama and dance and that sort of thing at her school. And I've got to, this week I went over to see her perform.
Nice.
So they are just really attached. I was looking at our hammocks. We put up 3 hammocks every summer because they usually spend a lot of time with me in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
They have to work if they want to watch TV. They don't have a TV at their house.
Mm-hmm.
So if they watch TV here, they have to work for it. So we put the hammocks up, and every afternoon we have a little hammock nap and read books and,
Aw.
a thing. And so I was like, oh, it's almost time to put the hammocks up. So thinking about those things is really fun. This little portal is taking me on quite a journey.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well,
Started out with the egg in the face. I like to think that I'm painting with my inner guidance, but
mhm.
sometimes it's just really hard to see it. But with this one, it's just been effortless. It's been really
Oh,
coming through for me.
I love when that happens. That is really like you're ready for it to come through, right?
Yeah, well, I think all the stuff we've been doing in here has really been helping for sure.
Well, yeah, and you are actually in the midst of some big changes too, like in how
Yeah,
you're running your business and just you're open to it. And I think that sometimes it can be really hard. Like, we have things going and then to change it can be hard to visualize. It's almost easier to start from scratch, right?
Yeah, burn the place down is what I was thinking today.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, oh my God, there's just shit everywhere.
Yeah,
We had
right.
we had people staying in our house, so we tried to move out all our stuff, and give them space. And so
Oh,
trying to find all my stuff, it's really
oh,
fast.
yeah. It's amazing how quick we forget what we had too.
And is this mine or is this theirs? I don't remember this box of noodles or whatever, just
Yeah.
things like that. So, and then we'd stuck a bunch of stuff in storage. So, but two exciting things happened. A couple things I haven't been able to let go of with my daughter. She had a circus school, and so I got all her steer wheels, and I gave most of them away, but I kept 3.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you know what a steer wheel is, but
No, no, I don't. I was going to ask you that. Like, and what do you mean by a circus school?
well, the steer wheels are a big circle, and you're in the inside of it, and you're rolling around.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
She did acrobats and
Mhm.
skydiving and skydiving formations, and she was a chiropractor for
Okay.
trade, but she started this circus school, and the steer wheel became kind of her thing.
Mhm.
And so she I had all these steer wheels, and I gave them to a program down in Reno, a guy that she knew. And then but this week I went to a sound meditation at a place I'd never been before, and apparently it's a circus. They do aerial hoops and aerial silks. So I
Oh,
had boxes of silks, and as well as I still have 3 wheels. And so this gal, I said, "Are you interested?" And she said, "Oh yeah,
wow.
yeah." So I'm gonna, and then the other thing, I found a place that takes used wedding gowns, and she had a beautiful wedding gown
Oh,
that was handmade and beaded and quite expensive. And I found a place to take it. I haven't been able to, just throw it away because it's so
oh,
beautiful.
right.
So those 2 things are really exciting, that I found somebody for both things.
Well, that's huge. That's a huge shift too.
Yeah.
Like I can imagine how hard it's
Well,
been. Like,
just that thing where I went to the City of Lights and she showed me around and stuff,
yeah.
that just really shifted everything for me.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Oh my gosh. So good to hear too. I mean, encouraging for everyone that's dealing with grief and transitions.
Yeah,
And
they're
She
so,
wants she wants you to live, obviously, eh?
yeah. Well, she's living it up. She's having a good time up there in the her light body dancing around. I mean, gosh,
Yeah.
it was incredible. I was like, I see why you weren't sorry about letting go. We had some fun stuff to take care of here.
That's pretty cool. Those are powerful dreams. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't.
well, it's interesting. Transformation is dragonflies.
Yes.
Yeah, Jill and
Well,
I. Yeah.
My snake
Okay.
and my rose are coming up with this.
Yeah.
They want to be heard.
Yeah. Yeah. Jill and I were just saying there when you went to get your picture, how we're feeling the transformation in the world as well as our, in your own life, but that there's a healing happening in the world and that
Oh yeah.
I feel it. I'm doing up level.
This canvas is so big I have to put it upside down every once in a while to work on the other end. Kind of fun. There we go.
Oh, this feels nice. Just painting with you guys.
It feels nice to set aside a chunk of time to do that because
Yeah.
that's the thing about being home. I'm always rushing around doing this and that and the other,
Yeah, I hear you. And I'm no, it's interesting because something that I've been noticing lately is patterns of behavior that I thought were because I was so busy. Um, just a little bit of maybe anxiety in there about worrying about things. And it's like, oh, this is coming up even when I'm not busy. So it's good because it's coming up for me to take a good look at and do some healing and notice and be able to go, okay, there's, what's going on inside of me right now because I'm not feeling relaxed and peaceful where I should be. So there's
Yeah.
nothing to worry about, you know, stuff coming up. And I'm like, always just shoved it off to, well, it's really crazy busy right now. And that's why I'm feeling this way.
Yeah.
But now it's like, no, I'm home. Schedule is really a relaxed schedule. It's good. In fact, it's almost too open right now. So I'm like,
Have you done EMDR?
is that the
It's the
tapping?
tap
Yeah,
kind of, it's a pulse really, not so much tapping.
not
Um,
so not so much, no.
it, it, it's like you hold these two electrical things, these little seed
Oh,
things in your hand, and they
okay.
pulse back and forth.
Okay, no, I
So
haven't done that. No.
it's similar to rapid eye, but oh my gosh, after Lila died, I started going to her therapist, and she had been doing that with Ivy. And I decided, oh, I'm just going to go to her therapist, and then I don't have to explain everything. She was there,
Yeah.
for the whole thing. But I started doing the EMDR,
Yeah.
and man, she also does past life regressions and hypnotherapy stuff. And she studied with Dolores Cannon. I don't know if you know
Oh,
who she
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And but she said, this is much more effective, Carrie. And I'll tell you, when I was going through the grief process and I just couldn't stop crying,
Yeah.
she did a session with me, and during that pulsing, I saw it was like a life review with my Lila, and
Oh.
I saw all the beautiful times we had in our life.
Mm.
And she was not an easy child, but she was an adventurer. And oh my gosh, I
Oh,
used to have so much fun when the girls were little. And so it was good for me to remember that,
right.
you know, and she just, and you're not saying anything, you're just letting it unfold. And it was so helpful. And then she's helped me a lot with my, oh, my do it right script, you
Yeah.
know, am I worthy of this kind of stuff, but always with the EMDR, and it just takes you where you need to go. Uh, Sometimes I have visualization, sometimes I don't.
Uh-huh.
It was really fascinating. If you ever get a chance to do it, I have a set that I use at home when I feel a lot of anxiety. I can use it.
Okay.
Um, and just the pulse kind of settles you. It's kind of like doing figure eights in
Okay.
front. Just it gets both sides of your brain
Yeah.
functioning again.
Yeah.
And it I didn't realize how much anxiety I had, because hearing you talk about that, I went
Yeah.
through that. I never thought it was anxiety. I thought I just was overly stimulated,
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. That's exactly. And that's
And
exactly what I've been thinking is like, do I have more anxiety than I thought I had? Right?
yeah, yeah, and it's really, that EMDR has really helped. And a lot of therapists are using it because it's so effective.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to
So
know.
can I make a little comment on that anxiety that you're
Yeah.
feeling? Don't you feel like sometimes maybe it's like what you're feeling from the collective, it's not your own,
Yes.
and it's just coming in from, like energy around us, or, just even from like the energy of like what the earth is going through right now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly where I'm like, okay, it's coming through in ways that are triggering me,
Right.
right? So I'm like, okay, I do believe there's a big part in there, but I'm wondering if there's more underneath that's coming up for me in particular too.
Uh-huh.
Um, so a little bit of both because yeah,
Yeah,
that
because I've been feeling the same way.
okay.
Just a lot of, like, is this mine, or is this, like coming from outside?
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Well, that's good to know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine Mine has been my whole life. I joke that being a Virgo, that I envision every possibility of what can happen. And
Right.
then I spend so much time trying to resolve every one of those possibilities. And I didn't realize how anxiety ridden it was. And so then you throw in all the earth stuff and everybody else in the world, it really goes crazy. It's really
Yeah.
been haywire. But the painting, all the stuff we do, and then doing that EMDR stuff.
Yeah.
I used to teach juggling at the treatment center I was at,
Oh, cool.
and it was part of our program. I kind of made it. I got a grant for juggling equipment. And then the educate or edukinesiology, I don't know if you guys have heard of it. I
Mhm.
worked with kids in my son's class with it, and
Oh.
it's the same kind of thing. It does that same process when you do the figure eights, but I can juggle. And I was like, oh, I need to start remembering to do those things that help me cope with that anxiety.
Okay.
Mine or the world's.
Right.
Did
Okay.
you ever do educate with your kids at
No,
school?
no. That's interesting. No.
Yeah, and then recently somebody was talking about figure eight. So if you hold your thumb in front of your nose, basically,
Yeah.
and do a sign of infinity and
Okay.
follow your thumb with your eyes,
Yeah.
that
Ooh.
helps open the corpus callosum and
Oh.
pineal gland, all of that stuff that's going on right now.
Yeah.
And it reconnects both sides of the brain.
Okay.
So you're working from both sides of the brain instead of, oh, I've got to go to the other side to deal with this.
Right.
So you're problem solving. I used to say the best therapy we ever did was in juggling class. I mean, I taught there, I did, but yeah, it really helps. And I have to remind myself I've got all the tools. I just got to remember to use them.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's one of the simple ones
I have
is just,
never heard of juggling as a therapy.
well, in New Zealand, every kid in New Zealand learns it in the 5th grade
Really?
in the schools down there. I said to Adrian, you should get a juggling group going. And he looked at me and he goes, Mom, everybody knows how to juggle here.
Ah,
Everybody. So they
that,
teach it in the schools. It's part of their school curriculum. In 5th grade, they all learn to juggle.
well, I remember many years ago, like brain gym got to be quite popular, right?
Yeah.
Similar idea, but huh, that's interesting.
So we had a teacher on our unit that did all the brain. So we'd do all the brain gym exercises,
Right.
hydrate, and then do all the exercises before we even started juggling with them.
Huh. Oh,
So
cool.
that was part of our curriculum. But yeah, it was kind of cool to find out that in New Zealand, they actually have the kids do it every day.
No
In 5th
kidding.
grade, learn, and then. Whew.
That's good. That's good to know. You hear so many negative things about school systems, right? And
Oh my gosh.
it's like, yeah,
It
I'm
makes
like, you
me so
guys,
crazy. It
there's
makes me
some
so.
good things too.
Yeah. We have Montana's the lowest paid teachers in the country,
Oh,
and the district that we live in is the lowest of our state.
oh, wow.
And there's somebody running for school board right now, and she homeschools her kids.
Oh,
That makes no sense.
no. Oh my
But
goodness.
yeah, I could go on all day about education stuff that happens. But yeah, they're constantly fighting the I call them the Christian Reich, who want to
Yep.
control what every kid gets to learn, not just their kid. And they have to send notes home if they want to read Catcher in the Rye,
Oh,
and
yeah.
have okayed by all the parents.
Oh, yeah,
My-
that's the same here too. Very,
Yeah, my
very
neighbor's
controlled by parents, so.
English teacher at the school district here. So I get I said, anytime you need some bolstering at one of your meetings, call on me and I'll just go in and, I won't tell them I know you.
Yeah. I do think
What?
there's going to be a lot more different types of schools popping up more frequently over the next 20 years, like out of the public school system into, nature schools and homeschooling groups and
Yeah,
different.
we had a lot of that when I lived in Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah.
My grandkids go to what we call a magnet school, and it's an art school. So they have dance, they have music. My daughter went in and did a whole with fabric, did a
Okay.
fabric. So every kid in the school made a fabric, what would you call it? Like a little wall hanging thing.
Okay. Yeah.
And there's been weavers that have gone in. So the kids can sign up for like all these different activities, drumming, juggling, really cool stuff.
Cool.
It's nice when but it's a really hard district to get into.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, a really, school wise.
Oh, okay.
Because all of the cool kids want to be in that school.
Well, and probably paying more public or more private fees then, right?
No, it's not a private school. It's a public school.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
So how do they decide who gets to go there?
Well, first off, it's your district. If you're in the district, you have the option of going to a different school if you don't want a arts-based curriculum.
Right.
So there's another school nearby that parents can funnel their kids through there if they don't want to be in an art school.
Yeah.
And then if there's openings outside that group of children who are in the district, if there's any openings, then they open it to first come, first serve kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
So my grandkids are just 3 blocks from the school, so
Oh, okay.
they automatically, it's one of the reasons my kids haven't moved out of North Idaho.
Right.
This school is so fabulous.
Well, that would be. Absolutely.
They do lots of cool stuff. Like my granddaughter's in a dance performance group, and they're doing dance performances.
But
It's called,
they still have the same curriculum as everyone else. They just.
yeah, they have a lot of after school. Like she goes early and stays late every day, so she can do this extra stuff. But then they're gonna have their school. I can't, like they call it a folly, the Sorensen Folly, I think, or something. And they get up and all the performing arts kids perform.
Okay, yeah.
And then so that's like their end of the year tribute. They have fundraisers so they can raise extra money for all the extracurricular stuff they do. And so, and
sorry, go ahead.
they have choices what they can take. They don't take everything,
Yeah. That's amazing commitment from the staff too.
Yeah, such a fun school to teach at because you're getting to do like this girl growing up. I've known her since she was probably 3, and she is the dance teacher at the school. And so she was in my Sunday school class at Unity Church.
Okay.
So she comes up and gives me a big hug every time, but I don't think she'd trade being in that school for anything
Oh,
because it's so fun to be involved. I went over for a special performance last week, and there's just, yeah, you still have to take all the tests and do all that kind of thing, but you also have all this fun stuff that you get to do with the kids that are the whole reason you got into teaching,
yeah, yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. And a lot of parent involvement.
Yeah, I bet you would need that.
And I used to tell people, I don't believe that it's a free education. I believe I have to, so I was teaching juggling. I had a juggling up my group at my son's school growing up. I always did the art classes for my older kids. In fact, I created my older daughter. I was pretty disappointed in the school she is at. So I went to the principal, and I was substitute teaching at the time. I went to the principal and I said, I want to do this curriculum with my daughter's class for the kids that have advanced math skills. My daughter's dying in there because she's so bored. So we did a whole cool thing. I, did a thing where the kids did the sun and all the planets, and we uncovered, studied all the different distances and what that meant, and it was really fun. I can't remember what all I did, but
yeah.
And then we shared it with the whole school because we had a display, and so
that's cool. Yeah. They saw a need and filled it.
yes, I worked night shifts so I could go to my kids' school and do stuff.
Nice.
Some people thought I was a little crazy, and I was at the time.
But takes everybody to help.
Yeah, I feel like I got as much out of it as the kids did, but it was sure fun.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Do they have that in the schools up there at all?
Our school had it changed into, like, we had a principal that was very passionate about shifting it into becoming like an academy school. So we have these academies in the afternoon where the kids get to choose all different, like, of course, I had art and painting and drawing and
so it
sculpture, and then other teachers, like, there were sports ones, and it was kind of divided into arts, which included languages and music, and then sports academies, and then, like, what we called interact academies, which is kind of part of the Rotary
so
learning.
people in the community would come in?
Some would, yeah. Mostly the teachers were responsible to figure it out and teach it.
Yeah.
And so, and they still do. They've cut them back a little bit because it really was quite a little bit out of hand, like too much, and that we didn't have enough time for curriculum. We felt we were being rushed through curriculum. So yeah, it was, yeah. And it's, yeah, when I left, they don't have anyone really teaching art. So my daughter's been teaching a couple art classes now. And then there is another girl, but it's not as full as the art program that I ran.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's good. Yeah. Mm. Well, I love that you guys are painting kind of intuitive paintings based on our topic this month, right? Being the card readings and sinking into the messages that your paintings can become like a oracle card for you, right?
Yeah.
You look at, even I'm looking at this going, okay, what is drawing me to paint a canoe? Like, I know what draws me to the teepees because it's definitely the pull for women's circles, and grandmothers gathering and saying, come on, Janice, let's do this. Like the vessel, I guess the canoe being the vessel, the journey. I actually have Unstoppable Dream Women's Circle is supposed to start tomorrow, officially start tomorrow. And it's so funny, you guys. I'm going to share with you because you cannot let anything stop you, right? So this Unstoppable Dream Women's Circle is part of Whitney's program, Whitney and Tammy, and I took the certification for it. And it's been a struggle getting a group to stay in, like they love it, but then something comes up in life and they're like, okay, I have to drop out for a while. I'll maybe come back, in a couple months. And so I had, women in it when I first started it last fall, had a couple women in it, and then they all had stuff come up and they left. And then another group started, a group of 4 women, and they were loving it. But then I offered the Reclaim Your Radiance and they all wanted to go into that. So it's like, okay, they're just, I got to switch. I can't do both. So I'm going to switch to Reclaim Your Radiance and then I'll come back later to the women's circle. And so I keep starting it, right? And it's the same kind of first couple modules. And I had April as a trial month and there were 3 women in and they loved it. But then I thought, how do we get people just to stay in this group rather than the come and go? Because it's really the continuity for the circle strengthens as you get a group like this. Like you guys know, you build trust with the people that are in there. So I thought, well, maybe I'll try switching it to like a program rather than a subscription. So this is going to run for 7 months. And here's the 7-month cost, but you can also do it in a monthly fee, same price, right? Same price. And 2 of the women dropped out because they're like, yeah, I don't think I want to commit to a full program. And so now I'm like, I have 1 woman committed, and I'm like, tempted to go back to my just monthly women's circles. I used to run just a monthly women's circle. Come this month if you can, like join for this month if you want. And then the next month I would promote again and join if you want. So I'm kind of in a little bit of a transitional point, right? Of sitting here and going, okay, how are we going to do this? Because everybody's saying they want these women's groups, but I'm struggling to get them in and to commit to it. But maybe I need to just go back to the monthly, here it is for the month of May. Come and join us if you want. And June will be a whole different situation, right? I don't know.
I see all of your stuff coming and going and I want to do it all, but I've decided I'm really focused. I'm going to stay focused on just this one thing, because if I get too much going on, then I can't hold
Right.
it together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's exactly what Anna said too. And I'm like, I get it. I get that.
I
Yeah,
feel
there's
the
only
same way. I feel exactly the same way. I just can't do, like
Yeah.
I'd like to do everything too, but if I do, then, I get too scattered and,
Yeah.
and then I feel anxious.
Oh, yeah. And you guys have like, this is a big program. Like this is huge. So I am glad that that's kind of what you're doing because it makes it more meaningful. And I mean, you're getting the best of the best of all my programs in there.
And
Yeah.
for me being in Hawaii all that time, the whole time up until now, it was easy for me to make all the meetings and be,
Yeah.
rarely did I have to miss because, maybe some event was happening or we've made plans, but now it's going to get a little harder for me to commit to every time.
Yeah.
But I'm trying really hard because I think I did Whitney's program. I did the CCFC training and I probably only attended live, I would say less than 20% of the time.
Oh, okay.
Of course, during that time, I was running my daughter to doctor's appointments and
Right.
therapy. And, I was doing a lot of stuff. It was my saving grace to have that time where I could, but rarely did I get to do it live.
Right.
So
yeah.
This was perfect for me getting to start it while I was in Hawaii because then it really got me committed,
Yeah.
with the whole process. Instead of going to 3 or 4 classes and going, I'll just watch it online later and then back to it.
Right.
I
Yeah. I have a
had to do
program
that.
right now that way too. I'm trying to catch up in it, but actually I have 2 that I'm trying to catch up in for myself too. I get that. Yeah. So, and maybe it is the commitment part too, that people like, not just you guys in here, but in general, my whole audience I'm looking at and going, okay, what's going on? What is it that they're looking for? And maybe I need to send a survey out or something.
Yeah. Sometimes it just, life gets overwhelming. I've always found, and that it's been different because, the lavender's only, for 2 months in the summer, but other things I've done, that summer would always be the time when we had a drum circle.
Right.
Everybody showed up in the winter, but summertime, everybody's off playing and doing things,
This is true. This is true. And I am really drawn to actually finding this location for my teepee and having some
Ooh.
live workshops for that. I need a location for my teepee to be able to do that. So maybe that's where I just need to focus right now is on that.
Janice,
Yeah.
it's so funny that you bring that up. I've been trying to manifest a teepee for 3 years here.
Why aren't we closer?
I don't know, because I want to work with, I wrote a children's book, and it's called Children of the Wild Wild Woods.
Mhm.
And I wanted originally, before COVID, to take them on hikes, come back to the teepee, do art and nature, nature art with them. And I have not been able to manifest it. I mean, I'm glad I didn't because the fire probably would have, ruined the teepee. But anyway, I mean, now I'm like all ready and it's not happening.
Did I ever tell you the story of how I got my teepee?
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I had a group of women and they very, very like this is another group that's kind of gone through like some of them are still, they still get my emails and everything, but they've kind of moved on to other things. But Kimberly Berner, she's very much she actually won the draw this morning for the Illuminate Your Soul Challenge for the month, or not the month, the week. Anyways, she was in the circle. There was 12 of us, and we were meeting once a month. and then we were walking through, or I also had another group that I was doing a 12 days of manifesting program.
Mhm.
And some of them were in both. So anyways, we were talking about, because we were just coming out of COVID and how much we miss the in-person gatherings. And I was living on the acreage at the time. And we kind of, in our circle that we were meeting, we're like, yes, we need a teepee for us to all come and gather in. And I'm like, yes, we do. Okay. And the more I got thinking about it, I was like, okay, well, I know some elders in our community because they come to the school. We erected teepees at the school with the students. Like, this is not something that is unheard of. We can get a teepee. So I did a video in my backyard, and it's on my YouTube. And I said to them, okay, girls, like, we're manifesting a teepee and this is where it's going to go, right here, right? And that was September 21st, or yeah, it was right around it was the 21st. It was the 21st because I went to look at another teepee that was up in a college close to us here in town. I thought, well, I'm just going to go look at it, see how big it is. And when I walked into it, there were all these like prayer flags because it was September 21st. I'm like, oh yeah, it's September 21st. Okay. So then I went home, I did the video, I proclaimed to them, we're getting a teepee. And in November, the end of November, one of the girls sent me a post and said, look at this. And it was a Cree store in Manitoba that was having a contest, and the prizes were
Oh.
teepees,
Oh,
draws. You just buy a ticket. They were raising money. You buy a ticket, and if your number is drawn, you pick the number. If your number is drawn, then you win the teepee. And I said, oh my gosh, who has draws for teepees? This is crazy. I'm getting a ticket. And then she sent me another message. She said, no, this is your number. Merry Christmas. And I was so grateful, right? I'm like, are you kidding me? That's so beautiful. So she had bought me a ticket, and the draw was December 21st, and we won first prize.
oh, I love that. Oh my
So it
God.
was like, yes, this is what you need to do. You need
Yes.
to gather together. And it was just so incredibly powerful. And it happened right when we're doing the manifesting challenge. And it was powerful. And we manifested it all together. It wasn't just me. And so then it was a little bit of confusion in but the place that was making the teepee, it was a 21-foot teepee, and or 23-foot for first prize. Anyways, I don't know if it was a little sketchiness underneath, but anyways, they did the draw, they videoed it, and it was a different woman that won. Like, they said, oh, this woman who was native had won the draw. And they showed all the names beside the ticket numbers.
Mhm.
And we actually had, because she had texted me the messages that she had sent to him when she purchased her ticket. And he said, yes, this, I can't remember what number, ticket number, what, blah, 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 is yours. That's the one she picked. So I just happened to watch the video to see how close we were, because it said we didn't win, but just to see how close we were. And sure enough, like, they said the wrong name. So then they were in a bit of a bind. So they did get us the teepee eventually, but it took over a year to get here. And
Oh,
they were trying to get out of it, and being kind of funny about it. But in the meantime, we had decided we needed to move into town and you know downsize, because my husband, it's like, it was just a lot of work on the acreage. So we were, it was really hard to find a house. So I kept looking for a house with enough space to put the TV up in the backyard, but there was just nothing available. And we were like 2 weeks to having to be out of our house, and we still hadn't found a place. And like, cause our acreage sold pretty quickly. So it was all so we ended up getting this bungalow when there's no space in the backyard for the teepee. At this point, I didn't even know if the teepee was coming or not, the way they were behaving. So yeah, and then the teepee arrived. So I have nowhere to put it up at this point, which is really sad. I've looked at a few different locations. They've kind of backed out because they, like I said to them, people will be coming to, they'll be parking vehicles, and is there a bathroom access for them, type of thing. And so a few of these people that were like, yes, come put it on my property, they backed out after, which is fine because I didn't want to have any issues. I want it straight up front. You need to realize, there could be, 15 people coming in vehicles, and it's in the evenings, type of thing. So yeah. So at this point, I have the teepee and the teepee poles, and I need a place to put it up. So I'm putting it out there that, even just some old farmer says, hey, come use, yeah, you can put a teepee up in my property, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
We'll help you with that. I'll help you
Yeah.
manifest that.
Well, that would be great. Because
Well,
we're a
we
little
hope,
far to travel for a teepee, to bring a teepee to you.
I know, I know.
I'm a
It's,
little closer.
Yeah, very
I
true.
just, it just, I don't know, like I went to Portland, my daughter had a friend that used to do massage in her teepee.
Oh,
And
cool.
they were selling it. So I went up there with a trailer and everything to pull it back home. And I got there and it was like in the back of a pickup, all rolled up. It was, by the time they pulled it all out, it had stuff piled on top of it. It'd been out in the moisture. It was all kind of moldy and stuff. And there's
Um,
no way to clean that. So
yeah,
I decided not to take that one.
yeah.
Sometimes but my husband in the meantime had put a spot up here.
Oh,
And it just hasn't happened. But it's everything's divine timing.
right?
So that's the way there was some reason I'm not supposed to have that right now.
Yeah,
I'm putting it back out there very strongly because I
yeah,
really feel like, I'm gathering women, I feel like, this started clear back. So my anniversary's in August on the 21st, which we had that major eclipse. And that's actually when all this kind of started, because I thought, I should be putting teepees back here on this property that we have.
right.
And bringing in people to, families to come and stay. I could do art classes, we could do horse, riding, do a
Yeah,
whole bunch of different things. And then, everything just kind of happened. And then so I thought, well, I'll put it on the property here where we live, and then I'll work with the kids. And then my knee went out. I had to have knee surgery during the whole time I was making art kits and working with the kids at the art center. And,
mm,
it just like everything kind of, unraveled. And I basically had to relook. And then that's when I took Whitney's class,
right.
Green Tara. And then, I thought, oh, I really, I like this. And so continued, I did the coaching class and got finished that, and then met you. And and then said, I really like this woman. I really want to work with her. And so I think it's just been a learning.
Mm,
I
I'm
think I just have needed to sit back and just learn so I can share.
right. And you're
Yeah.
right. Timing is everything, right? What we
Yeah,
don't know, right? It's like we don't know what's coming,
we
and the
don't.
universe may be, helping us through some stuff, and the timing it'll happen when it's supposed to happen, type of thing. So yeah. And I also, looked last year, I looked to find places in town here. Like, can we put it up at the campground and just get it blessed? I have an elder all ready to come and do a pipe ceremony. It's a woman. She's a pipe holder or anyways, and it just wasn't working. And then an older couple that is, they volunteer on what we have a not-for-profit cultural, Native Cultural Center here. And they had tea with me. They invited me over for tea just to kind of warn me that there was some contention between some of the Native groups in this area, and that if I just plunk a teepee up, they're being a little white girl, they're gonna have issues, and they didn't want me to walk into it without knowing what was going on. So I appreciated that. And it was also like, well, we can't put a teepee up just anywhere. Because if it's on someone's property where someone lives there, that's okay. The teepee can stay up. But if it's not, you can't just leave it and come back to it on weekends, because a teepee shouldn't sit empty, right? And alone. So I'm like, oh, cheapers. Okay. So I knew last summer it wasn't going to happen, and I let it go. I'm like, okay, divine timing, universe, I'm leaving this up to you. So I'm the right place. And yeah, now I'm feeling the pull again. I'm going, we need to get this TV up. This needs to happen.
That's interesting. I ran into some of that when I had my store, like with smudge bundles and different
Oh.
things. The
Mhm.
native, I actually had some of the elders come into the shop to okay me, because
Yeah.
if they told me they were doing something for the tribe or for, some group, I would pretty much give them any herbs they needed or anything at cost.
Yeah.
So they brought in and I can't remember what her name is, but it was a whole family of women that shopped at the store all the time. And it was their grandmother, and they brought her in and she chatted with me and gave me the A-OK. It was really interesting.
Yeah. And I got that too from the elders. They're like, I mean, the elder that was gonna come and bless, she had no problem with it.
Yeah.
And I also, like, the gentleman that had me over for tea, he gave me a beautiful bundle, little red sachet that I usually have on me. I don't right now, with sage that is over 100 years old, like has been mixed
Oh,
and created just for people
very
in
nice.
ceremonies. And so that was kind of his blessing. But there are some natives that are feeling a little put out. And so just to be sensitive about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, well, just like anyone, there's always somebody that has something to say, right? But so we'll see how this evolves. But I did get reprimanded by one Native woman who didn't like that I was using teepees in my images on social media. But
So hard. Well, I did something this weekend. Oh, talking about Chief Joseph, because I'm, reconfiguring my retreat, and talked about Chief Joseph and him being in the Wallowa Valley and stuff.
yeah,
I was like, oh gosh, I wonder if I'm going to catch Chief for this.
yeah, it's funny, right? We gotta,
Well, when I worked at a treatment center for it was a lockdown facility for teenagers, for adolescents 13
okay.
to 19. And the native kids had come in. We had a contract with the tribe quite a few of them actually. But the native kids would come in and I smudged with them.
Yeah.
And I had many of them, I would say over 50% of them, that said they had never learned to smudge.
Yeah.
They had never been taught the 4 directions.
Hmm.
And I would, not every day, but every day I worked, I try to work with at least one of the kids, because it was kind of, lighting matches and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff in a facility where children try to kill themselves with Drano is difficult. And I had a couple of really powerful kids come through that I really, gave the business to and said, look, you got to work with your people. And, I shouldn't be the one teaching you this stuff. It should be your elders.
Yeah.
And they'd disappear. They'd go home almost immediately.
Mm.
It's always fascinating to me that as soon as I had one of those kids and I talked to them about it, within the week, the parents were there to pick them up.
Oh,
So I never quite knew what happened. If
right.
they told mom, hey, or dad, the nurse just told me I'm, a medicine person and I need to get my shit together. And
Right.
because that's what get your shit together so you can get out of here and help your people
Yeah.
and be present. And then within a week, they'd be gone. So it's always fascinating to me that how that works. And different, and every tribal group is different too.
Yes.
I mean, the tribes around here were much more peaceful. The Coeur d'Alene, the Nez Perce, I think. Unlike the Modocs in Oregon, I don't know if you guys, Jill, I don't know if Jill's even still here, is she?
Yep, she is. She's got her granddaughter.
Yeah, if the Modoc tribe. Hi there, beautiful girl.
Yeah.
Right here. She's
Yeah.
visiting with us.
But we had a few of the tribal members that went to school with us, and one of them was in love with my sister, and we'd go out at night and this big native boy was sitting on our lawn. Hope my sister would come out. He could woo her. It was always
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Well, and here we have our community is called Olds, and it's kind of at the center of a wheel of 6 nations. And the problem is that there's a couple of it was old traditionally hunting grounds, not controlled by anyone in particular, but there's a couple of the nations that think that it is their territory and they kind of are in dispute about it. So that's why this couple said to me, we don't want you to just come in and put in a teepee up because
gotcha.
we want to connect you with an elder that will say, like when they say, who's teaching you this, or who do you have kind of as your guidance, that I will have an elder that I can say, well, this elder is the one, that I'm connected with. And then they'll back off and go, oh, okay. Right. But just to come in and go, oh, here I am with my teepee.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, that might get you into some sticky situations that would be uncomfortable. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's an interesting thing. I've been reading, my daughter got me, trying to think what it is. It's written by I think he's Danish professor who works at one of the universities in California, but he's written a history of the native people before Columbus, pre-Columbus, and post.
Right.
And it's fascinating. It's the intricacies of what was going on before white man came and destroyed everything. But, and then some of the stuff that happened after, and I should send that out. It's really a fascinating history. And of course, he's writing it from a historical point, not as a elder or a tribal member or anything. Too.
Right.
So, but it
Yeah.
gives you a whole new perspective of what was going on, the different
Yeah.
nations.
That's
I've
definitely something to like. I taught history, Canadian history in school. That's what our social curriculum was, just Canadian history. And so we begin at before the explorers got here and look at the social structure of the indigenous groups. So we take three specific groups, the Mi'kmaq, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, which are all on the east coast of Canada and into southern Ontario area, a little bit into the prairies, and look at how their societies were structured so that the students can see that these were not people that just were randomly living everywhere. So it's like a very complex social structure in these societies with commonalities between them, right? So yeah, that and how they lived and how, when the explorers came, they actually tried to help and yeah, so it's pretty cool, but we don't go into too much depth, right? So
yeah.
like that would be good to have more information on.
I'm trying to pull up my Kindle account, but it won't let me
Ah,
to give you the name of the book. But yeah, it's fascinating, and it covers the whole North American continent.
oh, does it? Okay, that's
Yeah.
cool. Because
Yeah.
then, yeah, that would be good to learn about.
And we found out recently that my great grandfather, 10 times removed, was Massasoit, who allowed the Pilgrims to land at
Oh,
Rock. And that's been really fascinating, learning about that history. I've been doing
yeah.
a lot on that. But, I met a woman in one of the airports we were in. I think it was maybe Denver. She is like, because I was saying to my husband that we need to make a trip. I grew up Mormon, and there's a lot of history in our family around Mormonism. And I want to go to where all the old temples are
Mhm.
and do the healing work I do at churches and stuff. And see where my grandfather's farm was, but also I have relatives on both native side and European side that are from Jamestown and from Plymouth.
Okay.
And so I want to go and see both of those settlements. And this woman was like, oh yeah, I'm part of the historical society that, oversees all those places.
Oh,
So
wow.
she was fascinating. She was telling me all this cool stuff about, go in and, learn a little something about Massasoit, and then go in there, because the person playing that role on they have a tribal area set up. You can mess with them and they'll return, kind of interacting with you on a level of that time period. Like, hey, how about you do something about King Philip before he gets out of hand, who was his son, who started the big war that killed the whole tribe or got them sent into slavery.
Right. Oh,
That's fascinating. And what happened with the smallpox and everything.
oh, yeah.
There was, and I can't remember which tribe it was, but they would go and still children from the other tribes to replace the children that had died,
Right. Yeah.
to help the mothers with their grief. And that was like, whoa, that's, just one more thing that got set off
Mhm.
when all of these people died from smallpox,
Right. Yeah.
measles and stuff. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the wars that were going on at that time too. Like I know up here in Canada, the epidemics and the wars were devastating. And so when they had wars, they would not kill the kids, they would like kidnap them and adopt them into their families because they
Yeah.
needed more population.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't imagine.
I'm gonna say goodbye to everybody. Have a
Okay.
fantastic day. Thank you.
You're
Good to
so
see you,
welcome.
Jill.
Thank you for painting with us.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Have
Yeah.
fun with that little grandbaby.
Yeah.
I will. Thank you.
Lots of new cuddles too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is actually just about time anyways, so we can sign off at this point and I'm gonna keep painting this week. I'm gonna spend lots of time in my art studio. So
Great.
all right.
I'm going to try to do the same thing. Thank you.
You're so welcome, you guys. Love you, and I will see you next week.
Okay.
Just the book I was trying to remember is called The Indigenous Continent.
Oh, okay. The Indigenous Continent. Who's it by?
Let me look again. Trying to use all my it's by, and his name is Pekka, P-E-K-K-A Hamalainen, Hamalainen.
Okay.
But if you look up that and there's a weird Dutch name, that's the one. But just Indigenous Continent.
The
So,
Indigenous Continent.
yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Ooh, your canoe looks like it's coming out of that painting.
It is getting
so
there.
three-dimensional.
Good.
Yeah, looks
We're-
like it's sticking out. It's really cool.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you. All right. We'll talk to you later. Thank you for that. All right. Bye for
Bye-bye.
now.